Hi, we're the Swensons, the family behind Let's Adventure Some More.
And this year we decided to ditch our suburban life in exchange for a trip around the world.
This week we're still in China, in the cities of Yangshou and XingPing.
This week was a very full week. We packed in a lot of places and sites. We also had a few snafus along our travels.
To get from Beijing to Yangshou, we took an overnight train with a sleeper car.
And it was really awesome. You get 4 beds for the 5 of us, and you get into 1 berth. However, when I first booked our tickets, apparently I waited too long, so we had 2 beds in 1 berth and 2 beds in another berth.
So we had some difficulties trying to communicate with the cabin attendants. Let's just say their English is better than our Chinese, but even with that it was difficult. Eventually we finally did get all 4 beds into 1 berth, which was really nice. It would have been difficult having us separate.
And we're really thankful for the people who gave up their beds to be moved to another berth in order for us to get together. But it took a good 45 minutes into our train ride in order to finally get established into a berth.
But it made all the difference in the world.
After we got settled into our berth, we had a fabulous time, and it was quite an adventure sleeping overnight on a train. The kids really loved sleeping on the top bunk, and we slept great on the bottom bunk.
Didn't even need the white noise, but try not to forget things on the train.
Yes, we did leave a few items on board before we left.
At our first hostel in Yangshou, we had a billiards table and a lot of fun things for the kids to play with.
And there was a turtle and a dog and a cat. It felt like a zoo, but the kids loved it.
I think it was a tortoise, but
No.
the kids loved it nonetheless.
And then we did an excursion the next day after our arrival, taking 2 motorbikes and driving them through the winding hills and narrow streets of villages. I was pretty apprehensive at first because we had no helmets and many people to 1 bike, but it ended up being a really fun day.
But one of the fun things about China is that the scooter is the family vehicle. You can have 1 person, or you could have 4 or 5 persons on 1 single scooter. So we had split the kids up, 1 to Jessica, 2 to me, and so it was a fun little day trip.
When I'm always saying let's do as the locals do as far as eating, but I guess that also applies to transportation.
When in Rome.
Our time in Yangshou, we took a bus ride over to XingPing, an even more remote village in that area, but also really famous for being on the back of the 20 yen.
And while we were there, we took a bamboo boat or a bamboo raft and had a few minutes excursion out into the water and enjoyed the scenery and really just had a good time.
If we go west and take the Chevy far as it gets, forget the rest, I got you by my side. Foot on the pedal, couple rebels running the red, still every second chasing the daylight. I bet we never see the sun go down. Drive on forever, never turn on the headlights. Just keep it blue in the sky, bright as the blue in your eyes. Racing time and chasing the daylight. Lost in all this open road, loving you at 90 miles an hour. Heart is beating faster and faster. Across state lines and through.
On our last night in XingPing, before we headed to Xi'an, we wanted to make sure we had plenty of cash. So we went to the ATM.
And the ATM denied us several times.
So we went to the other ATM.
And that one denied us several times.
And we went to the other ATM.
And that one denied us several times. So we called our bank and they said someone should be out to fix it. And we are in a remote village in China. We're not sure if people come and fix their ATMs.
Yeah, it was a bit frightening. So it's important to make sure that for the next leg or two, you have more than enough cash to cover just in case.
And the reason why is China is a very cash-based country for foreigners. They only accept payment from cards or accounts that are tied with the Chinese bank. So we have just been relying on cash our entire time that we've been here.
And not every bank works with our bank, and so you have to know where in any given town or city to go to actually be able to access your cash.
So that was the first kickoff to tossing it up a little bit in our travels as far as how smooth things have been going. Then the next stop that we did was we flew to Xi'an to see the Terra-Cotta Warriors. I feel like this week we packed in a lot and we were really tired by the end of the week. But some of the things that we did were just really amazing. And so it was a full week, but a really fun one.
So 3 flights in a week and a half are a little bit difficult in the family, but I think it was worth it. We saw a lot of amazing things. In particular, the Terra-Cotta Warriors were just a marvel. The guy must have been a mad genius to do what he did, but it was amazing to see.
And we opted to take the bus there, which was a lot cheaper than doing a tour or a taxi.
Or paying for a personal driver.
So instead we just opted to buy a guide there, which was really awesome because he gave us more insider information as we were walking through that area.
So one of the things we found interesting in China is that there's not as much coffee as you might like.
No, but there is always hot water available because the Chinese don't drink the water from the tap, but they boil it to make sure it's safe to drink. So there's a lot of hot water here.
And since you can get hot water anywhere, fortunately we brought some of these classic roast coffee singles that work just like a tea bag. And while here we found the Nescafe powder, which you can get in different kinds of brands, but they are a lifesaver. They're amazing.
It's been really helpful to ensure we have coffee at every step of the way.
And we love our coffee.
Yes, we do. We have 3 kids. We love our coffee.
State lines and through time zones, kicking up the dust behind us. Out here where the night can't find us. Yeah, if we go west and take the Chevy far as it gets, forget the rest. I got you by my side. Foot on the pedal, couple rebels running the red, still every second chasing the daylight. I bet we never
在二路上下载下。
知道了，嗯。